As you were. I'm looking for Corporal Upham,
Yes.
Timothy E.
I'm Upham, sir.
Few characters have frustrated audiences more than Corporal Timothy Upham in Saving Private Ryan.
Upham? Upham!
He's considered by many to be the worst character in the film, with some even arguing that he shouldn't be there at all.
My 2 guys were killed.
Yes, sir, it's just that I haven't held a weapon since basic training, sir.
But what if I told you that the reason everybody hates him is exactly why Steven Spielberg needed him?
And he said the audience is going to relate to you more.
Tarzan? Is it,
Hey, drop dead, Corporal.
Because Upham wasn't created simply to be another hero, he was created to show us something most war movies never do.
Such swift and close collision in critical moments that man measures man.
Well, it seems to me, sir, that God gave me a special gift, made me a fine instrument of warfare.
But before we get to that, we need to compare him to the rest of Captain Miller's team.
Well, what about the company?
We take the pick of the litter and the rest get folded into Baker.
They are all experienced soldiers who had spent years learning how to function in combat.
3 runners with suppressing fire. Mellish, you hook to the right, I'll go up to middle.
Upham was a translator. He wasn't brought along because he was the best person for a combat mission. It was simply because Miller needed someone with a specific skill.
Upham, tell them to show themselves.
Notice how even after being given his orders, the first thing he grabs isn't his firearm or his helmet, it's his typewriter.
That's the truth. So my character further wasn't supposed to be in combat at all.
You have a problem with that, Corporal?
No, sir. Just if you consider I've never been in combat, sir. I make maps and I translate.
Come up with a better way to knock the tracks off a tank. I'm all ears.
It's easy to focus on the characters who rise to the occasion, like Captain Miller leading his men, or Jackson calmly taking out enemy snipers.
He was on the ground before we heard the shot.
But Spielberg understood that if every character in the film is extraordinary, then it makes the conflict and the war itself start to feel ordinary and unrealistic.
That, I think, is one of the more easily genius things that Steven tapped into in that film, was recognizing that all the films in World War II we'd seen up to that point showed this flipped ratio of really heroic men. 90-95% were really pretty heroic, and just a few, the others were killed or not quite as heroic.
It's for this reason that Upham exists in the first place. His entire purpose is to contrast the other characters and remind the audience that nothing about this is normal.
Fubar.
Rather than view him as someone we want to be like, we're meant to understand that this is what war looks like for someone experiencing it for the first time.
For one thing, you don't need to carry those. You'll need that.
And by doing this, he gave the audience someone to watch who's facing the reality of combat without ever having learned how to function within it. And in order for that reality to be accurate, he had to show the uncomfortable truth about war.
If God be for us, who could be against us?
That some people will rise to the occasion, and some people won't.
He didn't want to portray anyone as anything less than human. And the truth of war is when you can get the strongest man who's performed really well in training, get him in the middle of combat and he's paralyzed.
This is what makes the scene in the apartment so difficult to watch. And despite how infamous it is today, it almost didn't happen at all.
No. What the fuck is that supposed to mean, Corporal, huh? We're all supposed to die, is that it?
In the original script, the ultimate fate of Mellish is far less brutal, as he's quickly gunned down by a German soldier as he and Upham escape a tank. Suddenly, a young German soldier darts into Mellish's path. They both swing their weapons up simultaneously. The German is faster. Mellish is driven back as bullets slam a bloody pattern into his stomach. He goes down hard, dead before he even hits the ground.
Gather your men. We'll form up in the northwest corner of the square.
It's over in a matter of seconds, and then the film simply moves on to the next sequence of the battle.
I'm up! I need another bandolier. Anybody got a bandolier?
But during the filming of the scene, Spielberg realized that if Upham was going to keep the film grounded, he needed to make a drastic change.
Everything that I do in the film, in the third act, was not in the script. And that was all from Stephen. He turned that whole third act into Upham representing the audience.
He couldn't simply make him a witness, he had to make him a participant. So unlike Wade's death, where he was far away and could only watch helplessly, here he needed to be close enough that we couldn't separate his inaction from the outcome.
That scene on the stairs, you know, fellow soldiers, I didn't know I was going to do that until so I couldn't rehearse, couldn't prepare. He created that scene like overnight.
That's why Spielberg moves him from the edge of the scene to the center of it. He's no longer watching from a distance, he's only a few steps away, close enough that he can help, but lacking the courage to. Which to Spielberg was a reflection of the war itself, as the American soldier hears his Jewish comrade being killed by a German, but doesn't intervene.
It parallels the truth that the Allies had the information about the camps and didn't act on it right away.
In the end, the death might have only belonged to Mellish in the script, but by completely changing the scene, the death and the emotional destruction belong entirely to Upham.
You have a real visceral sense of what it might have been like, which was horrifying, chaotic, confusing, and really just rattling. And there very little acting is involved.
And if this scene is the ultimate depiction of who Upham is, then the ending tells us what the war has done to him.
I hear what you're saying. Really can't go around it.
Midway through the film, Miller's team decides to attack a German radar station in order to prevent ensuing patrols from being ambushed.
You just want to leave it here so they can ambush the next company that comes along?
After the skirmish and the resulting death of Wade, they capture a German soldier, and after taking him prisoner, Miller's team wants to execute him.
Sir, you're gonna let them kill him?
But Upham still keeps to his idealistic view, naively believing that the rules of war will protect everyone involved.
Shut your mouth. That's against the goddamn rules. Yeah, well, the goddamn rules just walked off with your new friend.
And that's exactly who Spielberg wanted him to be, a character who completely contrasts with the rest of the group, so that in the end, when he kills the same German soldier in the same situation, we don't view it as a redemption from before, we view it as the destruction of his innocence.
If God be for us, who could be against us?
He was never written to be a hero, he was there to show us what war takes away.
What it was like was a nightmare. I mean, nothing short of a horrible, horrible nightmare.
It's why I believe Upham is possibly the most important character in the film.
There's not a reason why, there's but to do and die.
Not because he's secretly brave or makes the right decisions. In fact, it's the exact opposite. Because while Captain Miller and the rest of his team show us what extraordinary men look like in war, Upham reminds us what war looks like to everyone else. And that's exactly why Spielberg decided he wanted to tell the story more from his viewpoint, and why the reason everyone hates him is exactly why Spielberg needed him.
That's a filmmaker, that's a storyteller.
You're going home wrapped in American flag with a hunk of cheese in your ass, Caparzo, you smartass.
I'm Luke.
You don't know when to shut up, you don't know how to shut up.
Thanks for watching.
You're gonna have to speak up, sir. My hearing, it's not so good.